Okay, so have you ever been in like a meeting and you need a specific piece of data, like right then and there to answer a question or make a decision, but it's like that data is totally locked away in your EHR system?
Oh, yeah, I know that feeling. It happens all the time, actually, and it's a big problem. And it's really the motivation behind this really interesting proposal from the Ventura County Healthcare Agency.
Okay.
They call it EHR Insight. And basically, it's using AI to get at those insights we need from all the data we have.
So we've got two main things we're looking at for this deep dive.
Okay.
One is the proposal itself for this EHR Insight AI assistant,
Yeah.
and the other is more technical, and it's called Chat with Data. It gets into how it would all work.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see how this could be a game changer for people like you who need data right away but aren't data analysts.
Yeah, one of the things that's cool about this proposal is that it's not just a technical solution.
Hmm.
It really highlights how important the human element is and that, healthcare professionals are the ones dealing with these data challenges on a daily basis.
And they give a really good example of that in the proposal,
Yeah.
talking about how important decisions often depend on data that's not easy to get to. Like they say, imagine you're in a meeting and someone asks about patient satisfaction scores or how you're doing on some key metric.
You know that the information is in the EHR somewhere, but to get a clear answer might take days, even weeks, waiting for those reports. And by then, the chance to make a good decision at the right time is gone.
Right, and that's where this EHR insight comes in. It says it lets users ask questions in plain English and get answers right away. It's like talking to the data itself.
Yeah, it's like having a colleague who's a data expert and can pull up those insights just like that. The Chat with Data document goes into the AI that makes this possible.
Interesting.
They're using a mix of AI technologies, including ChatGPT, which everyone's been talking about.
I love this idea of AI making data easier to get to. How does it actually work?
Well, ChatGPT is this really powerful language model, and it can understand natural language the way we speak and write, and then it translates that into something a database can understand.
So if I asked, how many patients were readmitted within 30 days after heart surgery? ChatGPT would get what I meant. And then what?
Then it would give that to its AI partner, Vanna.
Vanna.
Vanna is specially made to take those questions we ask in normal language and turn them into structured queries for a database.
So you don't need to know database language to get the info you need. That's huge for making it easier for everyone to use.
Absolutely. And it's not just about getting the data. EHR Insight takes it a step further and presents the data visually using charts and graphs and tables so it's easier to get those insights.
That would be so helpful for people who aren't comfortable with the usual data analysis tools. It makes those insights understandable and useful for everyone.
Exactly. And the Chat with Data document actually has an appendix with a bunch of real-world business questions that users really want to be able to answer quickly.
Like what?
Things like, how many patients do we need to see to meet a certain financial target? Or are we using our facilities and resources the best way possible? These are the questions that have a real impact on things.
That brings up something really important, though. We're talking about sensitive patient data. So security has to be top priority. How does EHR Insight handle that?
Both the proposal and the technical doc say that security and high PA compliance are built into the system.
That's good to hear. Can you give us a little more detail on how they do that?
One key thing is that the AI itself never actually looks at the patient data directly. It only works with the structure of the database, like what types of data are there and where they're located.
So it's like having a map of the data, but not being able to see the individual streets or houses on that map.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It lets the system know about the data without ever putting patient privacy at risk.
And I'm guessing it all happens within the organization's secure network.
Definitely. No sensitive data ever leaves that protected environment. Plus, they have a logging system that keeps track of every query and every time someone looks at data.
That's great for accountability and audits and making sure everything stays IPA compliant. But let's switch gears for a minute and talk about the user experience. All this powerful AI is working behind the scenes, but what's it actually like for the person using EHR Insight?
Both sources emphasize how important a user-friendly interface is. It's supposed to feel familiar and easy to use like a messaging app or chat platform.
So I could just type in something like, show me the trend in inpatient admissions over the last quarter.
Exactly. You can even say your question out loud if you want. And the answers come back in a clear visual way using those charts and graphs we were talking about.
What if I have a more complicated question that needs some work? Like, let's say I want to start with a general question about patient demographics and then narrow it down to specific age groups or conditions.
EHR Insight has something called progressive query building that lets you do just that. You can start general and then refine it step by step, like having a conversation with the system to get exactly what you need.
That's really smart. But what happens if I have a question that the system just can't answer?
That's a great question. And the chat with Datadog actually explains how EHR Insight handles different types of questions. For simple ones about data that's in the EHR, it can give you those answers immediately.
Okay.
But what about when you need information that goes beyond the EHR? Maybe something like socioeconomic data that would help you understand a patient population.
It would be incredible if it could use those external sources too.
It can. EHR Insight is designed to work with other data sources for those harder queries.
So it's not limited to just the EHR.
Yeah.
It can pull in information from a bunch of places to give you the whole picture.
Exactly. And if you have a question that's not even about EHR data, maybe a general question about healthcare or a condition, EHR Insight can even use ChatGPT's knowledge base to give you an answer.
Wow, that's amazing. It's
Yeah.
like having this huge data resource right there.
It is. And with all these capabilities, I bet users would want to share their queries with each other. Like, hey, I figured out how to get this really useful information. Here's how you can do it too.
Yeah, that collaboration is really important, especially in healthcare, where sharing knowledge can really make a difference.
And EHR Insight makes it easier. Users can save their queries with descriptions and tags, making a library of common questions and their answers.
That saves everyone so much time. We've covered a lot here from the problem EHR. Insight is trying to solve to its user-friendly design and powerful AI. It's definitely more than just a chatbot.
Yeah, it's a really sophisticated system that uses cutting-edge AI and really understands healthcare data and the people who use it. It's all about giving those users, people like you, the power to make faster, better decisions.
Which means better outcomes for patients in the end.
Exactly.
But like any new technology, there are things to think about for implementation.
You got it. How do we go from this great idea to a system that's actually working in an organization?
That's a big question. And that's where we'll pick up in part 2. We'll get into the practical stuff of making EHR Insight a reality, the role of AI consultants, and all the possibilities this tech has. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to this deep dive.
We've been talking about EHR Insight and how it can totally change the way business users in healthcare access data.
And how it gets rid of those data roadblocks by using AI to make complex data easier to get to and understand.
Right, and we even looked at how that AI engine works.
All while keeping security and HIPAA compliance at the forefront.
So now let's get into how to make EHR Insight real.
Yeah. How do we actually take it from an idea to a system that's running in an organization?
Well, the proposal actually has some really good advice on that, starting with don't try to do it all yourself. They really emphasize bringing in an experienced AI consultant to lead the way.
It's like having an experienced guide when you're in uncharted territory. You know, they know the best paths, the possible problems, and how to handle the complexities of AI in healthcare.
Yeah, they've been there and can help you avoid those expensive mistakes and use the best methods.
Which can save a ton of time, money, and headaches later on.
It makes sense, especially when you think about all the different parts of building an AI system like this.
For sure. You have to integrate it with the EHR systems, choose the right AI, make sure the data is secure, and meet all those high pay requirements.
And having a consultant who really knows healthcare is crucial.
Absolutely. They're so valuable. They can figure out your organization's needs, recommend the right solutions, help you through the development process, and make sure the implementation goes smoothly.
So they're there for the whole thing.
The proposal suggests that the first rollout could happen in a reasonable amount of time, maybe 2 to 3 months.
Wow, that's fast.
But yeah, the timeline depends on the size of the organization, their current systems, and how complicated the project is.
Makes sense. They also talk about some important things to think about, like subscribing to that ChatGPT API.
Right, which is basically how your system will talk to ChatGPT and use its language abilities.
And setting up the development space where your team will actually build the system.
Those are technical details that can affect the timeline.
Let's be real, though. This all sounds amazing,
Mm.
but there will be costs.
The proposal is upfront about that. It lists the main expenses, things like development resources and those API fees we mentioned.
Sure, but it's super important to compare those costs to what you could gain back.
Exactly. Think about how much time and effort is wasted right now on manual data processes.
Yeah, it's easy to forget when you're in the middle of it, but all that time waiting for reports, pulling data from different places, and trying to make sense of spreadsheets, it adds up.
EHR Insight is designed to streamline all that, free up your team's time so they can focus on the things that really matter.
Like analysis, decision-making, strategic planning, all those higher-level activities that get put off when you're stuck dealing with data.
Right. And we can't forget about the potential for better accuracy and deeper insights.
When data is easy to get to and understand, it leads to better decisions.
Decisions that ultimately affect patient care and how well the whole organization does.
Everyone wins. So even though there's an initial investment, those long-term benefits of being more efficient and having better outcomes could be much greater than the initial costs.
It's an investment in a smarter, data-driven future.
Totally. So let's zoom out for a minute and look at the big picture.
Yeah.
Where could EHR Insight go from here? What are the possibilities?
One of the coolest things is its adaptability. As AI keeps getting better so fast, EHR Insight can change with it.
So we could imagine adding new AI models that analyze data even deeper, find those patterns that humans might miss, and predict things to help with forecasting and planning.
The possibilities are endless.
What about future improvements to the system itself? I'm thinking things like support for different databases, so you can access even more data sources.
Or being able to use it on your phone so you have EHR Insight wherever you are.
And remember how we talked about giving access to other departments, even patients?
Imagine clinicians having those insights right when they're caring for patients, or researchers being able to quickly analyze data for clinical trials.
It could totally change healthcare.
But as we think about these possibilities, we have to be responsible and careful.
Right. AI is powerful, and it's up to us to use it ethically and make sure we're protecting people's privacy.
Human expertise and judgment will always be at the center of healthcare. AI can be a really valuable partner in helping us make those smarter decisions.
So as we finish up this deep dive into the EHR Insight proposal, it's like we're seeing this shift happening right before our eyes. Going from just having data to actually using it to make things better in healthcare.
It really is, and ultimately, it's those better decisions that lead to better care for patients, and that's what matters most. It's exciting to think about how this kind of technology could affect everything in healthcare.
It does feel like we're at the beginning of a real change in how we use data to make a positive impact in healthcare.
The possibilities are huge, and I really appreciate you joining me on this deep dive into the EHR Insight proposal. It's been fascinating.
It's been great talking with you.